Um, I don't want to record with my face, so I'll just do the podcast. I'll probably just cut this out, most likely. But anyways, excuse me. Hello and welcome on to the Daily Shenanigans podcast. I'm your lovely host, Davion Gillespie. Today's podcast is sponsored by Nike, the one and only, because, why not? Just do it. Today's lovely topic is about the newest God of War franchise. I believe in the last podcast we talked about a little bit. I think where we left off was basically just talking about how Kratos, how he's basically not rusty, or from how my dad quoted it, or how my dad said it, made a little more sense. So basically, he's not rusty, or no, he is rusty. He never lost his talent fighting, that is. And we have this beautiful new weapon, the Leviathan Axe, I believe it's pronounced. This is absolutely amazing. We also noticed in the game that we are not using the blades of chaos. No. We are using a blade of chaos, but we aren't using the blades of exile. And we notice it because I'll probably throw a couple of images in the podcast as well, just to show you guys the difference. But if you already know, that's absolutely amazing. Or it's easier on my end. But basically, we noticed in the very first game onto the second game that we using the blades of chaos. And so just thinking about that, the fact that Kratos found these, or he kept them, I have no idea how it works. Maybe there's some type of explanation, but the fact that these are still with him, it's kind of cool. And I didn't really dwell on it because playing the game, I was just like, oh, cool. Blades of Exile, even though they're called the Blades of Chaos from God of War 3. That's absolutely amazing. And that doesn't make any sense, right? I just said Blades of Chaos from God of War 1 and 2, but I just said that they're the Blades of Exile from God of War 3. And so I found it pretty cool. And doing more research, the more research I do, the more I kind of just learn. But the topic I really wanted to talk about is Mimir. I learned a lot, both in Norse mythology and in the game. But for those who don't know Mimir is basically, or he was basically, Odin's counsel, I believe. So anything that Odin wanted to know, Mimir would basically know that. In Norse mythology, Mimir is known as, or Mimir's nickname is Mimir the Rememberer. So this man, he's basically the smartest man alive throughout all the realms. And so then he kind of lives up to this name because in the game, the more I think they're called panels. There's these weird it's not necessarily, they're little short stories, and you interact with them, you open them, and you see all these different types of pictures and markings, and it tells you stories about different characters, mostly gods and not titans, tods and look at me, gods and giants. There we go, gods and giants, and Aesir gods and Aesir gods and goddesses, and Vanir gods and goddesses, and then giants. And so Mimir kind of lives up to that because he tells stories about different gods and goddesses and giants and whatnot. And so one part in particular is when you come in contact with, in the game, you get done reviving Mimir, and you need to find a way to get Jotunheim. So this would be your second time coming into contact with the World Serpent. And so then I found this scene a little bit funny. There's one part when the World Serpent gives all the information he needs to Mimir, or to the group, and then he adds on a little bit more. And so then Mimir and I quote, interesting. Kratos goes, what is it? Mimir goes, nothing to be concerned about, end quote. And so, like, hearing that is like, why keep something as little of detail away from them? Because we can also see, like, even the little things, like, upset some of the characters. Like Atreus, no. Like Kratos keeping the truth away from Atreus, and Freya keeping her truth about being a goddess, leader of the Vanir, away from Kratos. And like, that kind of just like, that kept them on the radar for me. Me personally, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but me, like, it's like, why keep something like that away from us? And you guys are like, well, what is it? What is it? Is it something big? Is it something little? And basically, I think when you basically just like roaming and like using the what is it called? The like the realms in between the realms, like that stuff. Like you're just roaming in general. I think Atreus, that's the time where like Atreus, Kratos, and Mimir just make conversation. And so like Atreus asks, he goes, Mimir, what did the World Serpent say? It seemed kind of important. Mimir basically tells him that Atreus looked familiar, which is impossible because they've never came in contact with the World Serpent ever up until that point. And so then he basically tells a story with him and Thor and the fight they had and launching the worlds and splintering the world tree and launching them through time past the World Serpent's old point. The World Serpent's own birth. I'm sorry, that made no sense there. And so like Kratos is like, that's madness. Atreus doesn't believe it. Or maybe not. And so like I was thinking about it. And so like in Norse mythology, Loki is the father to the World Serpent and to Hel. And I think 3 other wolves, Skull, Hati, and then I always forget the father's name of the wolves. And so then just thinking about it, it's just like, that's actually like nuts. Like, I don't really understand it. How a god, well, he is a giant, but like to give birth to like wolves, like you're a human and you're giving birth to wolves, like that's kind of crazy. But maybe that just has something to do with magic. Ooh, excuse me. It is still kind of early. It's 8:47. Oh my. But like, like Mimir is a cool character. Like the fact that he knows so much, that's probably like another reason why I like him personally as a character. That, and he's funny. But yeah, that's kind of just it. Like, like I think I said this in the beginning. I'm not sure, or in the last podcast. Like, the more we know, is like one question gets asked, and 2 questions take its place, and so like it just repeats itself over and over and over again. And so like I'm feeling another yawn coming. Excuse me, audience. I am so sorry. But yeah, like the more one question gets answered and 2 more questions takes its place, and so then it just leaves us keeps us on our toes, basically. And it's like with this new franchise, like we don't know if we're gonna just leave off with Kratos and Atreus training. We don't know if we're going to be later on in the future, come Ragnarok, and Atreus is this handsome, deadly archer. Well, he's deadly as an archer now, but like we don't know if Kratos is gonna have a great. He's gonna be an old man with muscles. We don't know all this stuff. So like it kind of just keeps us on our toes, really. But yeah, that's pretty much for this podcast, really. Like I just really wanted to touch on Mimir as a whole. You know, like he is a pretty cool character, but like obviously there's like more to know about him other than just other than him working with Odin and whatnot. But like a character I'm really interested is Freya. Like I can actually touch on that in the next podcast. Actually, well, ladies and gents, it was nice coming back as a group. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please drop a like, comment below for anything that you would like me to touch on or things that you would like me to talk about. I'm more than willing and talk about a few things. After all, I am just another fan of this game. Theories and whatnot. If you have any theories, comment them down below. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for the next podcast. Well, then, yeah. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Comment about other theories you have about the game or other topics that you would like me to discuss, and I will definitely check those out. Enjoy the day, smile, stay safe, and yeah, wear a mask because I know you're slipping. So yeah, deuces.